right. Welcome, everyone. This is Introduction to App Design. My name is Akshi Mohla, and I'm a solution consultant at SAP America. But before we get started today, I would like all of you who are probably at home today just to think about what your favorite apps are and what makes them so good. What do you like about them? And while you're thinking about your favorite app, think about the design of those apps, how user friendly they are, and think about 3 points why you like those apps, and think about an app you don't like, and think about like 3 points why you don't like the usability of that. And with that, I would like to turn to Chidima. What is your favorite app, Chidima?
Right now, TikTok. That's what I go on frequently. Yeah.
Okay. And why do you like it?
I think I go there for just the amount of humor that is on there, but that's also because when you join an app like that, let me say, because when you join an app like that, they usually ask like your interests, and a lot of things that do come up on my timeline are like aligned
Mm,
to my interests. Like if it's not cooking videos, it's like funny
right.
videos, it's travel videos, it's dog videos, things like that, right? So
Absolutely. So
yeah.
that's a great point that Chidima brings up, girls, that what her interests are, the app curates it to her extent, to her interests. And what that means is that it is easy to use, right, Chidima? It's easy
It's
to use. So whenever
engaging.
it's engaging. So
Hmm.
whenever we create an app, keep those things in mind, how to keep it engaging, how to keep it exciting, and keep it interesting and easy to use for the end user. And, speaking of TikTok and Instagram, all those kind of apps, we all remember at one point Snapchat used to be big, right? And we had influencers like Kylie Jenner endorsing this app. And
Hmm.
then the infamous design change happened. And all of a sudden, the influencers left that bandwagon. So that could also happen when you change the usability, change the design, that can impact how users perceive that app, and that can have major repercussions to how your app is perceived in the market and how much of a hit it is or a miss it is. With that in mind, when you think of coding, that's my next question. When you think of coding, what do you think of it as? Do you think of it as more of a creative or more of a logic based skill? And while you're thinking about that, think about yourself, reflect on yourself. Do you think of yourself as a left brain individual or a right brain individual? An analytic person or a creative person. Now, this is something we often see on Facebook, Instagram quizzes, BuzzFeed quizzes, in which they say, okay, are you left brained? Are you more analytical, numbers person? Or are you right brained and you're this imagination, emotional intelligence, expressive, creative person? So think about that. Where do you put yourself as? And again, I'm going to pick on Chidima. Uh, Chidima, what do you think of yourself as? Or do you think of yourself as more of an analytical person or more of a creative person?
I wish I could say I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle.
No, but I think I'm more analytical. Yeah. Numbers tend to just like make sense to me
Yeah, so
because they're
numbers come
numbers.
naturally to
Like,
you.
yeah, they are numbers. It is what it is. They tell a story. Um, and I find myself thinking, more deeply about things. So
Hmm.
I think I am more on the left brain side.
All right. So
Mm.
Chidima said, she's a little bit of both, but she sees herself as a more of an analytical person, more of a left brain side person. Now, we did this little activity. Now, let me tell you, all of you watching at home, that there is no research behind left brain and right brain. We work with our entire brains, right? So when it comes to coding, this is our mantra. Why don't we use both? App designing utilizes both. Of course, coding is all about being analytical, being logical, having that reasoning. However, it is also about the design. It's also about the user experience. So in app design, whether you think of yourself as a creative person, whether you think of yourself as a logical person, whether you're somewhere in the middle, your skills would be helpful. And if you're more one way or the other, partner up. That's what I have to tell you. So don't let uh, coding scare you. If you think that, oh my God, this is so much math, I could never. That's not true. It is for you. App designing coding is for you. With that in mind, a little bit of introduction of myself. My name is Akshi Mohla. I'm a solution consultant with SAP Procurement Solution, and I am based out of Houston, Texas. And just like our left brain and right brain and analytical and creative conversation that we just had, my undergraduate degree was in aerospace engineering. So I'm a real life rocket scientist. So that would tell you that I'm a very logical and analytical person. However, at SAP in my current role, I'm also the innovation ambassador. And I'm also always all about giving new ideas of how to show up different to our customers, which also makes me a marketing and networking ninja. So once again, we're using both the sides of our brain. So with that, I am going to jump into code.org. So I'm going to change my screen and let me know if you can see my other screen as well. Chidima, can you see the screen, this other screen that I've just have shared, or do you still see my
I'm still seeing your PowerPoint.
Okay, so let me change that up a bit. Chidima, if you can hold on the recording, can you make me a host?
Okay, recording continued.
Wonderful. So for today's session, we will be using something known as code.org. And after this session, I would encourage each and every one of you to go to code.org and enroll in it. It's free to use and take advantage of all of the free lessons that they have for you. They have hours of code if you just want to learn how to code something very quickly. If you have more time, you can learn how to make your own apps, own projects, and actually learn how to code in different languages like JavaScript right on there. So this is something I would highly encourage you to create an account on code.org. And this is something that we would be working on today. So today I will be sharing how to create your own app using something known as block coding. Now, if you do not know what block coding is, this is where we understand the logic behind the code. This is not where we would be working with syntax. So what is syntax? Syntax is the letter, it's the language of the code. First, we will understand the logic behind it, right? So we would understand block coding. If you feel confident, if you have had some JavaScript experience, you can start typing it on your own and go to the next level. But today we would be going block by block. Does that sound good, Chidima? Do you have any questions as to what block coding might be?
Block coding, yes. I don't know what that is.
Okay, good, awesome. So with that, let us watch a video together, and Chidima would let me know if you cannot hear the audio.
Okay. I'm good.
My name is Milani. I'm an intern at code.org, and I'm also a computer science student. I like computer science because it's really creative. I get to be the problem solver, I get to make everything function how I want it to, but I also get to be the designer. I get to be the artist and choose everything and the creative side of it. Making your own apps is easy with AppLab. Whether you're new to coding or have some experience, AppLab is a great tool for building new apps and sharing them with your friends. This is AppLab. On the left side is your app. On the right side is the code that will make it run. You build your program by dragging in blocks from the toolbox. To start, you'll just have one block, called set property. The set property block changes the look of the elements on your screen, like the buttons, labels, or even the screen itself. First, you need to decide which element you want to change. If you hover over an element in your app, you can see its name, or ID, here. Then go select that ID from the first dropdown. Elements have lots of properties you can change, like their text color, background color, or font size. You can see the full list and choose which property you want to change in the second dropdown. The last dropdown is where you'll write the value you want to use. The block will make a suggestion for you, but you can always type in different colors or numbers yourself. Once you're done, the block reads a bit like a sentence. Set button 1's background color to green. Hit run to see the changes you're building in code. If you reset, you can drag in more blocks to change other things about your app, like the text. For this tutorial, we'll be working in block mode, but AppLab also supports working in text. Either way, you'll be programming in JavaScript, the language of the web. Each level has a goal, instructions, and an image of what you're aiming to create. If you're ever stuck, click on this picture, and I'll show you exactly how to complete the level. But see if you can do it on your own first. Once you've completed the goal for this level, click Finish to move on. That's all there is to it. Hit the orange Continue button to go to the next level. Start your adventure with AppLab.
Awesome. So is everybody excited to create their own app? Let's get started. So we are moving on to our first task. So what we have to do in our very first task is to make your screen green. Right now there is no code, so that's why our screen is white, right? And as we learned, the ID of this is screen 1. So we have to make screen 1 green. So we'll use block coding to convey to AppLab that, okay, this screen that you see here, I want it to be green. With that, I would like to give everybody maybe 2 minutes just to work on this on your own.
Yeah, actually, I have a question.
Yes.
How do I make sure I get to this page you're on? I went to the website.
Oh, okay. Let me share the, hold on. So Christina, when she sent everybody the email, she should have shared this, but I will drop it in the chat as well.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so right now it says set properties screen 1 background color to red. We want to make it green. Let's run it and see what happens. Uh-oh, it's red, right? What did we expect? So that's the beauty of block coding, that you can start conveying what you want to the computer, to the app, to the system without getting bogged down by the syntax. So, okay, set property screen 1 background color to green. Let's run this again. Let's reset it and run it again. Voila, it is green now, right? Now, if some of you are feeling confident and if you want to move on from the block coding, you can start typing your lines of code if you feel that you're at that level. If not, we can continue with our block coding and just to understand the basics. Once we have the basics, we can move on to text coding. So with that, we completed our first task. We were able to turn the screen green. Okay. And if any of you is stuck, you can follow my steps here, or you can also click on this picture and look at the solution. And the beauty of code.org is that it does not tell you how right or wrong you were. You are in the driver's seat. So it's up to you to decide how satisfied you are with your code and if you think you're on the right track. Okay, so with that, let us move on to the next step. All right, make it bigger and blue. Make me bigger and blue. So in the last time we turned the screen green. Now we have to take this text and turn it bigger and blue. So how can you do it? It is a lot of times, we can look at lines of code and we can get bogged down and we can get scared and we can be overwhelmed that, wait a minute, I just learned how to turn that white screen into green screen. Now I have to turn this text bigger and I have to turn it blue. In code.org, you are given the steps. So here it is telling you that you'll need 2 lines of code. So you have to give label 1 a font size of 80 and a text color of blue. So we need 2 lines of code. Right now we have 1 line of code. Actually, let's go one step at a time. Let me remove that and see what happens when I just change the text color to blue. So yes, it made the text color blue. Now let's think about making it bigger. Font size. Font size of 80. It goes till 72, no problem. We can just type it in. Let's see how that changed things for us. Does it look like, Chidima, does it look like this here?
Uh-huh. Yep.
So we're on the right track. Any questions so far? So far, so good. So now we accomplished 2 things. Not only we changed the color of our background, but we also saw how to change the properties of the label. We were able to change the font size. We were able to change the color. So moving on. Let us look at the next step. All right, see how things are slowly adding up. And that's another thing that I like about code.org, that step by step, each step you will see that things are getting harder, things are getting slightly more complex, and you're learning more as you go, right? So now we have to make these buttons red and blue. That's our goal. Then we have to change the large text in the orange label. Okay? So make this red, make this blue, make this orange. Before I jump into it, I would want to give everybody 2 minutes just to play with it on their own. Chidima, you can time me. And if you have any doubts, you have this right here to help you. And as always, we have our tips right here. So we can hover over the element to understand what their ID is. So this one is label 1, this one is button 1, this one is button 2. And when in doubt, start small. So for example, now I'm just going to start solving one thing at a time. So this is label 1, right? And what am I supposed to do to label 1? I'm supposed to change the text to welcome to my app. Okay, so let's start with that. I'll take care of red and blue later. Let's one step at a time. Welcome to my app. I'm trying something here. Let's run it and see. Okay, welcome to my app. That happened. So I'm on the right track. So I took care of one part. Now I have to make this red and this blue. All right. Now, right now it says label 1. Do I want to change the color of label 1? No. What do I want to change the color of? Any idea? I want to change the name of this thing right here. So that is, let me reset this. So this is button 1. So I need to change the color of button 1. So button 1 background color, I want to make it red. So let's run it. Let's see if I'm on the right track or if I'm wrong. Okay, so welcome to my app, make me red. I did that. So now the last part should be very easy. It's right here for us. And at this stage, I would like to encourage folks who are doing this really fast, the block part of the coding. Once you start getting this logic, I would challenge you to the next step to start doing text coding, to start getting familiar with the syntax. Now I want to make button 2 blue. So let's do that. Button 2. Do I want to change the text in the button 2? No, I want to change the color, the background color. Make it blue. All right. Let's reset that and let's run it. Voila. So I was able to change the text here, make this red and make this blue. So whenever you see something big, don't get overwhelmed, break it down into smaller pieces. And that's how we will conquer it. All right, any questions so far? Chidima, any thoughts?
I mean, I think I'm thinking ahead here, but I think I was wondering about, I just lost my train of thought, but I think I was thinking about like just text.
Okay.
If it comes back to me, I'll ask in the middle.
Okay, yeah. And just one more thing, speaking of text coding, really quick, I'll just go a level back. One of the easier ways to start into text coding is to do the block first and just type it out on your own, or just have like button 1 typed out first, like how it was, and try to replicate it by typing it and see if you're like, say, missing a semicolon, if you're missing these quotation marks, any commas. Sometimes people get tripped up on that. So I think when we start copying things, that helps us with the practice. With that, we have another video to watch.
Apps are really cool because it's kind of like starting your own business. I mean, you get to design everything from the ground up, you get to manage everything, and you're the owner of this piece of work that you just created with code. Now that you can change the look of your app, let's make it interactive by responding to events. Events are user actions, like clicking a button, scrolling through a menu, or hovering over a picture. Interactive apps need ways to respond to events, like playing a sound when I click this button. To do this in App Lab, you'll need to use a new block called onEvent. This program sets the screen to blue. I want the screen to turn green when I click this button. First, I'll need to drag in an onEvent block. By hovering, I know the button's ID is Big Button, so I'll select that in the first dropdown. Next, I'll choose the type of event. There's lots of options you can pick from, but right now I'll leave it as a regular old click. Finally, I'll add code inside the onEvent that will change the background color of the screen. You can read this block like a sentence. On the event that the button is clicked, run all this code. Let's test it. Blocks outside an onEvent still run right away, so the screen starts blue. And when I click the big button, the code inside my onEvent runs, and my screen turns green. If you want to change more things after the event, like the text on the screen, just add more code to the onEvent. To make your program respond to more events, add more onEvent blocks. Just make sure not to put them inside of each other. Now it's time to try it out for yourself. Have fun!
All right, so next step is to make our app interactive. So let us look at what our next task is. Cool. This is just what we saw in the video. We, on clicking this button, it turns the rest of the app green. So this will start off as blue. When we click on Greenify, it should turn it green with the on event block. So once again, I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes, play with it on your own, and let's figure it out how to make this interactive. And again, if you get stuck, this right here is here to help you. And as we can see here, they've done some work for us already. They've already put on event big button. So when we click big button, something should happen to the screen one. Now I'm going to do a mistake in here on purpose, and let's see if all of you can pick what mistake I made. Chidima, what wrong did I do?
You made it red.
I made it red. Why am I making it red? I'm supposed to make it green, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes make mistakes on purpose. It can help you lead you to the right track. Like, okay, where exactly did I go wrong? It'll help you pick out where exactly you went wrong. So, okay, well, background color changed, so I'm on the right track, but that's not the right color. Okay, cool. Let's try this now. Let's change it up. We start blue, we greenify, and we greened it. So we made our app interactive. With that, we have finished this task, so we can move on to the next one. Any questions on your side, Chidima?
No, I'm okay.
Sounds good. Now, before I go into the next part of the next interactive app, I just want to take a pause and I want to talk to Chidima for a second here. So you have, you're a finance professional now, right? And when I was thinking back, I have been a STEM professional. I have gotten my MBA. I've taken a few coding classes. But when I looked at code.org, when I was teaching classes, whether it was for Black Girls Code or for Nerdy Girl, I realized, at least when I was growing up, we did not have things like this. And coding was never made so simple, so interactive, so exciting, and so fun. And at the same time, to make it feel like, okay, this is attainable. It is not some big, bad, scary thing. So what was your experience learning to code or learning more of the technical aspects? Like, did you have similar experiences or did you have something interactive like this?
Definitely not interactive. I have the same exact experience as you, to where like you just imagine it to be this like difficult, very technical thing that is unattainable, like you said. And when you go in with that mindset, even when like you're being taught, it's now very difficult for like, your mind to shift to understand like it's something that's doable. But I mean, it's also I think it's very beneficial that we have like websites like this that really, really try to like make it like fun, engaging, very simple, to start coding. So
I agree. I so agree.
Completely different experience. Yeah.
It's a gamified experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Very
agreed.
nice.
All right. So with that in mind, I think we're all very fortunate that we have tools like this to gamify the coding and the learning experience of coding. So our next one is an app I know I use a lot. Whenever I lose things, when it gets dark, I love a good flashlight app. So today you all would be making your own flashlight app and learn how to code that. So the goal here is that whenever we click the on button, the screen turns white. And when we hit the off button, the screen should go black. All right, so let's run it because they have done a little bit of code for us already. So let's see what part is working and what part we have to make it happen. So when I run it, okay, so when I do on, the screen goes white and the letters go black. That's good. But when I click off, that part is not working. It does not, the screen does not go black again and the letters don't go white again. That's the part we have to do, right? And once again, whenever in doubt, look at the work that's already been done. Look at the code that's already present and let's see if we can take some inspiration from it. So currently, let's read it like a sentence. Let's read what we are telling the computer to do via the coding language. So it says on event of an on button, whenever I click on button, set property, set screen1 to be white and set the label to become black. Whenever I click the on button, the screen1 turns white, the label becomes black. So now we have to do the opposite. On event, we click the off button. So whenever I click off button, I want to make my screen go black again. Let's do that. Let's start with that. I want my screen to become black. I have to type it down because it's not there. All right. Let's try that. Let's see, because right now I am missing something on purpose, but let's see what it looks like right now. So when I click my on button, that works. When I click my off button, let's see what happens. Okay, the screen did become black, but something is missing, right? I can't see my letters because my letter is still black. I want my letters to be seen. So for that, I'll have to turn my label to be white in color. So label, color, text color, white. All right, let's try this again. Let's try. On, it became white, this became black. Off, this became black, and that became white. See how that works? So now we have an interactive app and you created your very first usable flashlight app, something I use a lot, very, very useful. So there you go. Pat yourself on the back. You have created an app yourself. And how easy was that? With that, we are on towards one of our, another exciting lesson, which is to add sounds and images to our app.
Next, you'll learn about adding images and sounds to your app. Let's start by checking out the sound options. In the toolbox, you'll find a new block called Play Sound. Drag it into the workspace. You can pick a sound to play by clicking the drop-down, then clicking Choose. From here, you can either upload a sound file from your computer or search for a sound from the sound library. The sound library has lots of different categories, like instruments, background music, or animals. Once you've got the sound you want, click Choose. When this block runs, it'll play the sound you chose. To add images to your elements, you can just use the Set Property block. Select the Image property in the second dropdown. Then select Choose from the third dropdown. From here, you can upload an image from your computer, or you can look through a huge library of icons in the icon library. Back in code mode, you can use the set property block to change the icon color of your icon. Once you've picked what image or icon to use, click Run to see how it looks. That's all there is to it. Now you can start adding images and sounds to make your apps even more fun and dynamic.
So y'all, this is the part I get the most excited about, is to add sounds to the app. So the next app, we just made our own flashlight. The next app we would be creating is an animal sound board. And the good thing is, because we're just learning, most of the soundboard has already been completed. So we can just start playing it and see how it works and what all has already been done. So we already have a monkey sound, we already have tiger and horse sound. Now we can choose one last animal or any other sound that we want to choose and add that to the last button. So we have to add an on event for button 4, add a sound to it, and add a picture to it. Okay? And some text, if just around the you choose button. But before we get into that, let's have some fun and let's see how this app runs currently. So this is the last part that we have to work on. Okay? So button 1 has an image, button 2 has an image, button 3 has an image. Let's add something for button 4 then. So this is all up to you. You can go ahead and choose what kind of an image you want on button 4. See if I can choose a different file, or you can, so here you have a choice. In this, you can upload a file that you would like, or you can link to an image, or have some icons in there instead. So let's see what kind of icons they have. So if you don't like anything that's on there already, you can go ahead and find an image on Google. So let's do that. So while you're working on this, think about an animal that you would want to add, and I will go ahead and find myself a dolphin picture. So this guy looks really happy to me, so I want this one. Can you still see my screen, Shadima?
Yeah.
Good.
What'd you say?
Oh, I said, could you see still see my screen?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, good, good.
The dolphins look so cute. I always wanted that one.
You wanted one? Did you say?
No, I said I've always wanted to like touch one. Like, you know how they do. They do the dolphin shows. Yeah, they were so cute. They're
like
probably like the happiest sea animals, honestly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're so smart as well.
Yep.
So I got my dolphin image. I was really set on getting a dolphin in there.
I used a dog.
Dogs are also very sweet. They're my favorite animals, actually.
They are. That's why I used one.
let's run it and see what I did. So that did work. So I got my dolphin picture in there. All right, now I also want to change the name of this button also. So let's do that. So this is not something I'm doing in real time. So button number 4, I don't want it to have this text. I wanted to say dolphin on it. So I'm going to change that to that and see what happens. All right, reset that. Okay, so see how I was able to change you choose to dolphin. So I got a dolphin picture in there. I got it to say dolphin. Now comes the hard part is to, not the hard part, but the more fun part, slightly more challenging part is to add the sound effects to it. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we have to put on event. Uh-oh. No. I don't mean to do that. Remove that on event. All right. So never put an on event inside an on event. That's not going to be nice, not for this purpose at least. So on event, what do we want? We want to change button 4. So whenever we click on button 4, we want it to make a certain sound, correct? So we have a play sound here. Let's find a sound which fits this. Animals. Let's see if they have dolphins here. They do have a dolphin in there.
Actually, how did you get to the choose sounds option? Because I dragged the block.
Okay.
I didn't see the
play sound.
Well, maybe I have to hover for choose to come up. I don't know why it's not.
Oh.
Did you see how when you hover it said choose down or something?
Yeah. So I did this. So
I
I
have to click on
not
the
hover.
pen.
I have to click on it.
Oh, never mind. Thanks.
No worries. Did you get it?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
If only if I can get it to come over there. Hold on, okay? Give me 1 sec. I have to stop sharing for a minute. All right. All right, let me know when you can see my screen again, okay? Can you see this?
It's sharing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually, okay. And let's run this again. So here are the steps that we took. We changed the text of the button, the 4th button. We changed the image of the 4th button, and then finally we added a sound. Now we don't have to go with the sound. We can leave the default sound. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. And let's run it and see what happened. So monkey sound was there. Tiger sound was there. Now the dolphin sound is also there, right? So with that, we also made our own interactive app. So I can see that we are coming towards the close of the class. And at this point, I would like to stop and just encourage everybody to carry on with the lesson. There are multiple code of our lessons in code.org. So I would encourage all of you to try those, as well as to learn the text side of it once you get comfortable with block coding and learn JavaScript. And with that, what I would want to encourage everybody is to create your own app. That's the very, very last step, in which you can create your own app as well as share it with others. So now you can not only create a flashlight app or a soundboard app, but also different quizzes, the kind that we see on BuzzFeed. You can create things like that, and it's up to you. You can create personality quizzes, adventures, choose your own adventures, greeting cards. I'm really excited to see what all you come up with, but this is something, it's a safe environment. You get to define what success means to you. And once again, my name is Akshi Mohla. You can find me on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me for those. I'm always happy to help with that. But at this point, I would like to pause and just open up to Dima if she has questions, not just with coding, but in general, for somebody who is just starting to code.
Thanks so much, Akshi. This was very fun. This was very engaging. I love this.